What if I told you you can go through every single Pacific Northwest state in a matter of hours? You know the United States is big, especially out west, and it takes days to get through every single boundary and all that. Each state is like a country size in and of itself. Oregon, Washington State, Idaho, and Montana. But what if I told you that's not necessarily the case? In fact, I'm going to prove in this video that in a matter of a few hours, hopefully by the end of this day, right now it is roughly around 4 to 15 p.m. Hopefully I give myself around 5 hours, 9 p.m. I am able to cross every single Pacific Northwest state, and you're going to join me. Whether it is Washington State, which is right here, actually, the Emerald State, or Idaho, the Gem State, then you got Montana, Big Sky State, and then you also have Oregon, the Beaver State. Those 4 states are what cover and encompass the Pacific Northwest. Come on, let's go, let's complete this. 4:15 p.m. local time. Let's see if we can get this before 9 p.m. like we did before with other videos before. Thanks. Welcome to Washington, the Evergreen State. Welcome to Washington State. This is the most complete, economically speaking, state of the Pacific Northwest, not only because of Seattle and the big companies you guys have, like Fortune 500, ranging from Amazon, you got Boeing, you have Microsoft, and countless others. And there's so much to do within Seattle and Tacoma in and of itself. And Spokane, I should say, that is the school. Gonzaga is from there, and University of Washington, top elite schools that will definitely get your best bang per buck. And best of all, no state income tax, so you get the vibes of the city, the high-paying job opportunities without the tax burden that other states come that are compatible to Washington State. Welcome to Washington State. Whether it's a Space Needle, you go out to Olympia National Park. There's 3 national parks, by the way. You go snowboarding and skiing at Mount Baker. You got so much coastline. You got desert, as well as one of the few rainforests that are in the much north in the United States. So this is a lot of this in the western part of the state is rainforest, and this right here is high desert in the eastern part here in Yakima, Spokane. So keep this in mind if you want the diversity and also the economic boom of a state. Washington State is for you. So in addition, and you probably come to this for this reason, is the nature. Whether you got the rainforest of the Pacific Northwest, you got Olympia National Park, or you got the high deserts of the east, Yakima and Spokane area. There's so much to do, so much diversity, and well, you don't have to leave your job or your career opportunity to be in the Evergreen State and make the most of living here. So welcome to Washington State, the Evergreen State, because of all these evergreen trees. This is the border right here between Washington and Idaho. Washington, Idaho, I'll tell you this. Idaho is if you want to live the life of a cheaper standard of living where you don't have to fork over so much with from your wallet, but you get high quality. It's more outdoorsy, and the people are genuine and authentic. Versus if you want to go to Washington, which is the other way, this is more where the economic oomph is. Whether, like I said, working at top aerospace companies or Fortune 500s, and also getting a lot of the nature as well. I'll tell you this, you can't go wrong with either of them. Just that, keep in mind, you don't get income tax on this side, but on this side, it is half the cost of living, or roughly, it's cheaper cost of living. I don't know if it's half, but you either pick cheaper cost of living, because like I said, I was able to see gas prices in Washington were almost $4 versus here in Idaho they were $2.70, $2, under $3. And haircuts, same thing, $10 less for some of these places I've gone to. Versus if you go here, you don't get taxed on your income. So you decide, do you want the evergreen or do you want the gem state? Welcome to Idaho, the gem state. And as you know, I am in Idaho now, just by crossing this simple border. Idaho is gem state. It is the cheapest living out of all the states here. I actually looked at a haircut here, and it is, well, let's just say it much cheaper, like $10 cheaper than it was in Washington State. On top of that, gas, well, I looked at Washington State, gas costs like almost like $3-4 here in Spokane, Washington. But if I just cross the border here into Idaho, the gem state, lo and behold, it jumps, it lowers to $2.75 or lower. So $2.75. Crazy how much cheaper it is, but you get just as much of an equal type of living as you do out in Washington State, at least the eastern part of Washington State. So if you guys like cheaper living and more peace of mind, well, and cleanliness. So Idaho is one of those states that it's still secret and it's still kept under cover as a state where influencers haven't really touched it as much. So you won't be affected by high rent prices like you are in other states that have been affected, like Tennessee and all that. So come to Idaho and make yourself a living where you are able to live that American dream that was once on every single 50 states, but is only in a handful of states, and Idaho is one of them for sure. Welcome to the Cascades. Absolutely majestic. Lake Kurt Allen. Beautiful. Has a lot of culture and vibes to it. Small town America, mountain town America. We're at Lookout Pass, and guess what this means? We are getting to Montana. Montana, the Big Sky State. It is huge. It's crazy how much it could last. We have made it to Montana. The Big Sky State that is full, as raw, full of nature. You want to be self-sufficient, you want to be self-reliant. There's no better frontier state in the contiguous United States than Montana. 700 miles at least, and goes to show that you can have just complete zero access to people and just all access to nature in this beautiful big sky country. Welcome to Montana. Montana is where you unwind, you unplug more than any other state, except Alaska maybe. And the Big Sky is here. You go skiing, snowboarding, Big Sky. There are hardly any cities here. The biggest ones are like Billings, Missoula, which are, I think, not even close. If just over 100,000 people, which is nothing. The only place that's even more remote or has less people is Wyoming, but that's a much smaller state than Montana. Montana is, as it is, it's in mountain time, and it's the third largest state and area in the country. So welcome. And lo and behold, the weather changed. We are in snow country. Lookout Pass is over to the west, and I was not that far, about a couple hours away at Spokane, Washington. It just goes to show when you go on mountains, you gotta be prepared to change and adapt to the climate, because it can drop 20 degrees or more even and have precipitation, as it is here in Montana. Coffee Travels signing out. Welcome to Montana, the treasure state. As you may know, this is the third largest state in the Union, on top of being one of the most nature-bound. This is big sky country, so much skiing, not so much cities, and you get a little piece of like Mother Nature, North America, big Americana. So if you are looking to come and get away from it all, unplug, Montana is your place. This is also known as the treasure state. So do keep in mind when you come visit that it is very much man's country, and you ought to expect to have a little bit of self-reliance, but at the same time, do enjoy what Mother Nature has to offer. This is Montana. I am at a rest stop and look forward to coming back to this amazing state. I should note, being in Montana, we are in mountain time, so right now it is 6:59, or as it was in Pacific time, 5:59 p.m. So we are on track to completing all our states from Montana, Idaho, Washington, and Oregon, completing all Pacific Northwest states in only a night. It is possible. These are one of the largest states in the Union. It just goes to show that it is possible. It goes to show that large states, if you track them carefully, you route them out carefully, you can complete and get a little flavor or taste of every single state, even how big, no matter how big they are, because these crevices in the maps and these little, I guess, boundaries, these massive boundaries, I should say, they create hacks for you to cross each of the places that you need to get to and experience every single state. This is Montana, and this is big sky country. This is Coffee Travels, signing out. On my way back to Lookout Pass, Idaho. We are by Lookout Pass. Lookout Pass is the border with Montana, Idaho. As you can see, we are in Idaho, and we're going to briefly cross over into Montana. And the time will automatically move forward by 1 hour, because it is in mountain time, and Idaho is in Pacific time. So watch this. And it should update about now. Perfect. We are in Montana. Missoula, Corral. Time to go back to Corral. Head our way to Oregon. Welcome to Idaho. Idaho, the gem state. Most affordable living in the Pacific Northwest. That's its unique selling proposition right there. And notice how I've been able to do this in only, in an hour and a half. 2 hours now, across 3 states, Washington, Idaho, and Montana. Now it's only a matter of time of crossing Oregon to complete them this night, hopefully before 9 p.m. Wish me luck to complete Oregon. It'll be later than 9 p.m. to get to Oregon. Have to have some, food. 2 hours later. We're by Columbia River, the famous river that ends at the Pacific Ocean. This is where Lewis and Clark found this river, the famous Columbia River. This is the passage to the Pacific Northwest, and guess what? We are on our way to the last state, 9:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Because guess what? The Columbia River wraps around. We are on our last state, and it is 10:13 exactly. 10:13. So we are able to do it. Make it to all the Pacific Northwest states. Almost in Oregon. This is our last one. Here's the Columbia River just wrapped around. And boom, boom, boom. Almost there. We're exiting Washington State, going into Oregon.
a mile, take exit 1 for US 395, US 730 East, Fort Hermiston.
Welcome to Oregon, the beaver state. This is the most
Welcome to
biodiverse.
Oregon.
This is the most biodiverse state in the Pacific Northwest. Whether it's high deserts, you got rainforests, volcanoes. Welcome to Oregon, the beaver state. Whether you got the Cascades, you got Mount Bachelor, you got Mount Hood, you got also the high desert. Welcome to Umatilla. This is the entrance to Oregon from Washington. As I was saying, this is the state that has the most biodiversity. High desert, it's got volcanoes like Mount Hood. That's where I'm going to Mount Bachelor, another one. Excellent skiing and snowboarding conditions throughout the whole year. Got Crater Lake, the deepest lake in the U.S. And also the only state that has public beaches all throughout its coast. This is the beaver state, Oregon. This is what it is. And it's not just Portland and Eugene. Portland gets a lot of fame, but there's more to Oregon, especially if you go out east like where I'm at. Coffee Travels signing out. It is 3:17. We were able to do it in roughly 6 hours. Congratulations, thank you. This just goes to show that just because states look big doesn't mean that they can only be done in days. If you plan accordingly, you can make sure that you can get to all the states and experience a little bit of each within a day. And just goes to show it with this experiment alone helped me see, well, I was able to go to Montana, Idaho through the Panhandle, and Washington State, and now Oregon. And that's the Pacific Northwest states. Those are what are considered the Pacific Northwest. Coffee Travels signing out. Please like the video if you want to see more travel challenge content. And subscribe as we travel the world together.